We showed you what the GOAT was last year when we beat y'all 50-7.
Let's go! One team!
Relax, big boy.
One team, one podcast? Yeah, they did a good job. Yeah. Why is he so fat?
One team, one podcast. One team, one podcast. One team, one podcast.
One team!
All right. Welcome back to One Podcast. It's Matt here with Jack.
Yes, sir.
Episode 53.
53. Kevin. No.
T-Bob Baber.
Yeah, sure.
Gotcha.
Sony Fanua.
Sony Fanua.
Better name.
T-Bob Baber. He gave us a
Little
retweet today.
Little RT today.
Yeah. All right, guys. Big shout out. We got one of our partners on the podcast right now watching. Brandon.
Oh yeah.
We got to pronounce his name right.
Lejeune.
Brandon Lejeune.
He couldn't get me into the game the other day.
No, you cannot. We might get you. Do you want to go Saturday?
Yeah, I'm planning.
I
on it.
got
I got to get there like 3 hours early. Apparently.
I have 2 tickets.
Oh, nice. Okay, sweet.
2 tickets to paradise. 2 tickets to the PMAC. So we'll talk about LSU basketball in a little bit, but first we want to talk about Brandon Lejeune and courtesy Buick GMC in Lafayette, doing great things in Lafayette. Guys, I know we have people in New Orleans. We have people. We had somebody in New York earlier today.
New York?
Yeah, we had somebody in the Coast Guard in New York asking if our podcast had dropped last night.
Oh yeah.
So we have people all over the place. You can still contact courtesy Buick GMC in Lafayette, and they will still deliver a car for you. Get in touch with Brandon. We'll post all of his information on the Facebook page. They are great partners of us. Been very supportive of us. And anybody, I'm telling you, this week has been something for me that I've been very. It's been close to my heart. Anybody that's been supportive of us whenever we were we're still nothing but like lower than nothing. Right. They were people that were still very supportive of us even then. I'm like 10 times right back at you. We'll talk about Jordy Collada in a little bit because he's one of them too. Also, guys, Bear Process Safety, the Big Orange Bear, he's doing some work in Baton Rouge, but he's also doing work worldwide. I caught up with him the other day. He wants to go play golf with us again, so we need to hit him up as well. Whenever I got my injection on Monday. Yeah. So after Monday,
test it out.
I got to do my injection and I got to do yoga after that, but then I should be good.
So we'll hit the links. You'll get your yoga in, and then we'll tee off.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So Bear Process Safety doing work. Process Safety consulting company. They can do everything for if you got a safety manager, get them in touch with Bear Process Safety. The Big Orange Bear is a big supporter of us. Also, Ether Insurance, Adam Emirata, he's actually his new commercial started today on our station. So Ether Insurance, they can do insurance claims, insurance quotes for any line of insurance, commercial. They do business, obviously business, but they also do auto, home, and life. So reach out to Adam and go to Ether Insurance on their webpage. You can Google them. You can do a free quote online. And then lastly, went out to the distillery last weekend at Sugarfield Spirits in Prairieville. They are going to be a little partner of ours as well. And I told them that I would be drinking their stuff on the podcast. So here I am. I got a little clinky going.
There you go.
With a little bit of Sugarfield SR1. That's their first batch. Cool. He walked through the back of the distillery with me. I'll bring you out there.
Yeah.
They make their own gins, rums, all that kind of stuff right there in Gonzales.
Shit, yeah.
Right off the interstate, right by the outlet.
Okay.
So roundabout that way. Great guys over there. Drew over there is a really good guy. Big into bourbon podcasts too. So we actually have an open invite to actually do a podcast live there as well.
Is that sponsor number 5 or partner number 5 or whatever you want to call it?
Partner number 4.
4?
Yes, that
You
would
sure?
be 4. Courtesy, Bear,
Lots of rain.
Ether, Lots of Rain pot. Yeah, that's number 5.
Yeah.
Holy shit
Good
balls.
Lord.
These guys. All right, so yeah, you heard Lots of Rain. If you're listening to the audio version, big shout out to those guys as well. We have a promo code that you can use on Lots of Rain's website. I have another watch coming in from them, by the way. So yeah, we're really excited, man. 2021 is brought a little bit of like a reflection period for me, where I'm thinking about 2020 and everything that's happened in 2020. We started this podcast as like, man, we were just having fun.
Yeah.
We needed a breakaway. COVID happened, and I was like, Murrah, I need something like an outlet. And this happened that way, and now it's kind of like become something.
Yeah.
And we appreciate all of our listeners for reaching out to us. And we had people reaching out to us today, expecting the podcast yesterday.
Mhm.
And I'm like, every time that happens, I'm caught off listening to us. So appreciate to you guys. I wanted to do a podcast tonight. I've had a couple of drinks. I'm honest. This is honest Matt tonight. I've had a few drinks tonight. So I may say, I may have a couple of F-bombs, who knows, but
We got a member of the Dash Sports in the crew
here we go.
in the chat.
All right, so
watching the stream.
All right, first of all, let's get to the OC hires. Do you want to talk about that? What do you
Sure.
want to talk about first, OC or DC?
Yeah, have we had an episode since the OC?
I think
hire?
we have. Yeah, I think we have. So
Okay.
we've discussed Peetz and Mangus, and sure enough, we were the ones that broke the news, guys.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know if you know, but we break news.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, breaking news sounder. I
Good
forgot.
Lord.
Oh my god, I'm drinking. Yeah. So Peetz was like a name that we hadn't heard, and then
Yeah.
whenever I got the news that Peetz was going to be one of the guys, I was like, this sounds legit if this is the guy. So we kind of threw that out there, but the more and more, all right, so since we've talked, they've had the introductory press conference with Jake Peetz and Mangus.
Right.
Man,
Man,
I mean,
just
Jake Peetz.
I was drooling.
I
watching
was
that press conference. Dude, that was awesome.
I was fully erect. Just saying.
I had a half chub myself, but
he just says all the right things.
Yeah.
He especially, I don't know if I'm sure he does, but I don't know if he really understands the dysfunctionality of this team coming in from the Panthers. But the way he says some things, it sounds exactly what we need. Like preparation. How many times have we talked about this team not feeling like it wasn't prepared for the game plan?
He hit on all of the things.
Yeah.
That we were
I'm like, oh my God.
Man. Yeah. That was one thing. Like attention to detail was a big thing that we've talked about all year. And then he also
relationships.
That's another thing. Yeah. I mean, that was clearly lacking from last year's team. And then he also said, I'll use my players, like whatever lineup is the best lineup is what I'll go with. I'll play 2 running backs at the same time. I'll go no tight ends.
Right.
Multiple tight ends. I'll do like whatever is best, I'll do that. And I felt like that was another thing that we were kind of missing last year. So we were kind of just square pegs into round holes.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time.
Yeah. I almost feel like you should coach the defense. Because that's apparently what the problem was on defense more than anything.
Yeah,
but
that's true. That's true.
Offensively, I mean, one of the things that we were always talking about was, man, like first of all, at the beginning of the season when we were complaining about guys not catching passes and quarterback looking like he hadn't seen this defense before, things like that. That last year, 2019, we didn't have any of that. You had the summer of 10,000 catches.
Right.
You had guys that, they caught everything. You had a quarterback that knew exactly what was coming beforehand. And he said exactly that. He said, we expect to know. Actually, DJ Mangus, I think, is the one that said that, where, they'll prepare so much that the game is secondary.
Right.
And
practice is harder than the game. Right.
Right. And, they've seen every single type of defense, and they know that there's always going to be one guy that's open, and it's how quickly can you get to that read.
Right.
that's something that I didn't see last year as much.
Right.
Man, I'm just so stoked right now. Volume working. Okay, no volume. Okay, about to say. Whew. You know how much preparedness I have? I mean, we've talked about DJ Mangus and Jake Peetz. You don't even need to know how much preparedness needs to happen on this podcast right here. Oh, that would have drove me crazy right now. All right, so we've talked a little bit about them. The defensive coordinator. Volume working in Basel. Oh, that's a big deal in Basel.
Yeah.
So defensive coordinator. We said a few things on Twitter this past week. I am closer and closer to thinking that I am about 95% sure of who the guy is.
Right.
Which is Ryan Nielsen from the Saints,
Right.
defensive line coach at the Saints currently.
This time last week, though, we also thought we had the guy.
Yeah, we did. We thought Marcus Freeman was the guy, right? Guy's got 6 kids, huge Catholic guy.
Sure.
Notre Dame is like number 1 on his list, right?
Sure. Well, yeah. Do you want to go to the Catholic school that's closer to home, or do you want to go to the school with rape allegations that's pretty far away and you got to move your family?
Who's the athletes? Who you got coming back?
That's fair. That's fair. I didn't mention that, but yeah, that's fair.
All right. So I think it's Ryan Nielsen, but we have heard some chatter about a couple of names, not only just Ryan Nielsen, but also Joe Barry
right.
with the Rams, linebacker coach.
Right.
A little older. I think he's 50.
Although Ryan Nielsen's, I think, close to 50. I think
he was younger than that.
I think he's like, let me check that, but I think he's like 47.
So one of the things that we were thinking about was, okay, who's going to be first available? Is it going to be the Rams lose and the Saints don't? So Blake, the Saints don't, to where you have Joe Barry is available before Ryan Nielsen.
Right.
Does that play into it at all? Or are we just set in stone with Ryan Nielsen? My questions are, how much contact have they had with Ryan Nielsen before to know that, okay, not only does he have interest in the job, but are we willing to wait this long? And is he going to tell us yes?
Yeah.
Like that's my concern. You wait this long and then he's like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah.
And you just spent 2 to 3 weeks of waiting when you could have
big
hired
thing
somebody.
Coach O mentioned, though, at his press conference was you just got to be patient with this.
You got to be patient.
Right.
Said that, I was like, that the writing's on the wall,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is the guy. Or one of the. I was thinking it had to be an NFL guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Obviously.
Well, how old is Nielsen? Have you looked it up?
I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, he's just vampire. He looks like a thug, by the way. Have you seen his pictures?
I
mean, he just looks
mean, he's
like.
got the. Well, yeah, I've seen his picture. He doesn't look like a thug.
No, not
He's got a beard.
He looks like he is a goon.
A goon.
Yeah,
okay,
that you hire from the mob to like break somebody's legs.
Okay,
That's the
yeah,
kind of guy
yeah.
I'm talking about.
He
I
seems
actually like that
a-
for a defensive line coach.
He seems like he could. I feel like he carries around an axe with him.
Yeah.
He seems like a lumberjack.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
I absolutely see that.
He's always chopping wood, maybe body parts. I don't know.
Maybe. All right. So backstory on Nielsen. The biggest part of that I remember him was he was the defensive line coach for North Carolina State. Back when they had Bradley Chubb, they had Mario. What was his name? Mario.
I don't remember.
That was Ryan. I mean, sorry.
I remember
Reggie
Chubb.
Bush. Reggie Bush. North Carolina State had a few classes of like defensive linemen, and he was there for those.
Okay.
He's moved on now. He's with the Saints, and obviously their defensive line is playing fantastic. But they're also, Cam Jordan. You can't help but be impressed with what he's done with the defensive line. First time, long time. What's the latest on Pelini's next move? I'll hang up and listen.
Jeez.
I'm
Who asked
hoping.
that?
Yeah, that was Blake Price from St. Joseph, Louisiana. Inside joke. I'm not sure what Pelini's going to do, but I would assume he is going to collect his money and go play golf because apparently that's all he was doing in the first place.
Mhm.
Correct?
I remember towards the beginning of the season, it sounded like we may get to play some golf with him, and now I don't know
Yeah.
if he wants to or if we want to.
You know what we need to do is we need to contact Coach Brady, and
Right.
Will Wade is completely busy at this point,
Mhm.
but
Not busy to stop by walk on right now. No.
yeah, you had a breaking news. You were with Will Wade.
Yeah, we had a good little chat. Not really.
Let's talk about Jordy Collada for a second because he's been a big part of us, and like we had the "Don't Be a Dick" T-shirt.
Right.
We
yeah,
posted that.
That was on his. That was on their
his
show
set.
for like 2-3 months.
That's right. And I was super shocked. Like I gave him that T-shirt, and I was super shocked that he did that. He didn't have to
Did
do
not
it.
see that coming.
I didn't either. I've texted with him a few times, and actually, he was let go yesterday, and I texted with him yesterday and today. I even asked him, "Hey, look, if you want to come on the podcast, that kind of thing."
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's something that can happen one day, but
Mhm.
I don't know what's going to happen with him in the future. But I had heard that it was a compensation package issue that they may have been trying to cut his compensation a little bit. And me being in sales also and being like 100% commission, I get it. I completely understand. I don't think he expected them to let him go. He probably expected him to renegotiate, but they did not. So probably some underlying issues there. And it happens in business, but Gordy's a great guy. And I've heard some people tried to disparage him a little bit throughout this, not knowing what happened. But bro, that guy's a good guy, and he deserves another shot somewhere. If it's
Yeah.
not in sports talk, maybe it's just sales in general. But guy's a great guy, and I'm hoping maybe he can come and do some shows here. I've even asked John Brady, look, if you guys wanted to do a weekly show and come over here, we got all the equipment. I'm all for it, bro. Like, I know he's got advertisers and he's got all that kind of stuff. I'd love to help him out any kind of way we can. I love to help out people that help us out. We were like nothing. He was helping us out. I would love to do the same for that guy. Anyway, kind of my 2 cents on the matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was at the basketball game the other night with Brandon Lejeune.
Sure.
We'll kind of switch gears a little bit.
I watched from walk-ons because let's tell that story. So I came and met you and Brandon Lejeune at walk-ons. We got a drink and then we headed to the stadium in Brandon's souped up GMC. That thing was killer, huh? That was dope.
Yeah.
We get to the stadium and they're walking in to get they just have their tickets. They walk in. I go to get my student tickets, and the lady at the gate says, sorry, if you're trying to get student tickets, they sold out about 20 minutes ago.
I was shocked too when she said that.
I
was like, there's no way, bro.
We were there 20 minutes before the game started.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was so shocked, because the Georgia game, the game right before that, I got to the PMAC like 30 minutes after the game started. I still got in, and there were a bunch of people behind me that got in too. So yeah, it was pretty. I mean, granted, Arkansas is a better team than Georgia, and a lot more. I was definitely a lot more excited for that game, but I didn't think everyone else was.
But it's so stupid, bro. Like 250 people. You know how empty it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous that that's what they're going to limit it to. Make some arbitrary number like that.
Yeah, no, it's basically students get 10% of the ticket allotment.
Right. Right.
Blows for us. I get it, but it blows.
Well, let's talk about the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
We jump out early. I loved and I've been talking about this. I feel like I've been with my hair on fire talking about pressing for a long time. And I noticed, obviously, early on, it was similar to the Ole Miss game where we were trying to press and basically get them to have quick shots. And it seemed like that was working. They were taking quick shots, probably weren't in their, in their nature.
Right.
We were able to.
They were just so
some
off
transition.
balance.
Yeah.
You know, like all their rhythm was just completely thrown early. And I mean, that's why we jumped out to that early 31-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, because I was talking about it with the people I was with at walk-ons, and
Just strangers.
and yeah, just random ass people. No, I was with a couple friends, but like we got up by 20 early, and someone I was with said, you know, yeah, it's great that we're up big, but you know, eventually Arkansas is going to go on a run because we always give up a big run. And I said, sure, but if we can stretch this out, get up by 30 quick, we're not going to lose. Like, there's no run they can go on that would.
No,
probably. I mean, they almost got it back to 10 at one point.
One of our big
that.
friends, David, he had posted something on Twitter about the LSU Kentucky game in 90.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, come on.
Right.
Don't do that to me
Why
right
are you
now.
posting that during the game? During the game?
During the game.
Come on.
31-point lead. And I'm like, come on.
Ugh.
I don't need that right now.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, but that would have been what it would have taken. It was like an
bad juju on the game.
It would have taken an all-timer
right, exactly
to come back.
Right.
and honestly, it was a lot closer than it should have been at the end of the game, but it was still a 16-point win.
Yeah, we still won by 16.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me but that's what I was saying going into halftime when we were up by 20. It was like, yeah, I was kind of aggravated at how we finished the first half. But if you would have told me at 6 o'clock when the game started that we were going to be up by 20 at half, I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
So, granted, like, I don't like giving up a 11-0 run or whatever they went on, but you know, at the end of the day, we gotta. All you have to win by is 10 or more.
Mm-hmm.
Anything above 10 points doesn't matter according to the net.
Right.
So whatever.
I didn't even think about that.
Right. That's how I always think about it. Is net.
Well, that's how Will Wade thinks about it.
If you don't get it within 10 points, then who cares?
Well, that makes a lot of sense because I had posted a video of Will Wade. We were up by 18, I believe, at the time, and he was furious.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just mad at the what was happening on the court and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is so funny that he's so mad. I didn't take that in consideration that a win by 10.
No, Will Wade, I've watched so many Will Wade pressers, and like he always talks about the net, and it's just like I'm just geared to think about net. Because like I remember one game last year even, and Kentucky was smoking us.
Mm-hmm.
And we made this like crazy comeback, and it didn't feel like we were going to win the game, but we ended up only losing by 3. And I was like, that's huge for net. Like, I mean, we didn't win, but to only lose by 3 instead of losing by 10 or more is always huge.
That's interesting. All right, so Cam Thomas has another game where he's not 100%. I shouldn't say 100%. More of like just had a quiet game. And me and Brandon, we were actually talking about it during the game, which was he could have 20 points at the end of this game. Like that we didn't even realize.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so sleepy of a game.
Right.
And he still ends up with 20 points. Yeah. I think he ended up with 17
17
points.
17.
It's just amazing to me how he's able to like either get to the free throw line or just get a couple of buckets, and you just don't notice him as much. And you don't really notice him until he gets to like 25, 30 points. But he's just such a good player as far as getting to the free throw line. Best I've seen in a long time.
And he shoots 90% from the free throw line.
Right. It's like automatic.
Yeah. And he's one of the best free throw shooters in the country already.
But getting guys to pick up fouls is such a big deal too. You know, another thing that I had mentioned during the game was, you know, how is Trenton Watford going to be the SEC Player of the Year this year?
Trenton Watford?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. I saw on SEC Now that someone picked him to be their Player of the Year, but you know, I mean, I could argue that he's like the 3rd best player on the team. I could argue it.
So Darius Days.
I would even say maybe 4th.
Well, who was your other guy?
I honestly like Javonte Smart. I think Javonte Smart's a better player. I know that Trenton Watford gets a lot of points, but that's because he has the ball so much. If you talk about it from an efficiency standpoint, Javonte, Darius, and Cam Thomas are all better.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Trenton also has a big turnover problem. And I know he scored 23 points the other day, but he could have played a lot better in that game.
I just think Trenton Watford is on a different level right now, and he's got the
Sure.
footwork, and he can get to the basket at ease.
Mhm. No, he's very, very good. But I mean, I don't know if he's the best player in the SEC. I don't think he's the best player on the team.
Well, I think he's probably the best player on the team.
I take you don't think Cam Thomas is the best player on the team?
I mean, I guess Cam Thomas. I mean, I think he's a freshman, so I think he's going to have a few games where he's like outstanding, and he's going to have a few games like where he's just you don't even notice him, but he scores 15, 20 points.
Right.
But I think a guy like Trenton Watford is he's imposing on the offensive end, and he can get a solid 23, 25 points and maybe 8 rebounds, but he's like a force. Like when he gets the ball down low, he's scoring every time.
Yeah, I get that.
I just haven't seen enough guys on other opposing teams yet to know. Like I don't know who Tennessee has that can put up, similar.
Yeah, that
stats,
is kind of the
stuff
thing.
like
That's
that.
kind of a common theme around the SEC is that like no team has like a guy, and LSU kind of has 2 that could be like considered a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched a good bit of SEC basketball, and I still haven't seen like that dude. I mean, maybe Keontae Johnson when healthy, but he's not healthy.
He's not healthy,
and I don't think he's even going to play this year.
And
so.
going back to LSU, Darius Days, I loved his game the other night. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's another guy. He had a silent 18 points.
Yeah, but a lot of his shit is like garbage time stuff. Not garbage time. I shouldn't say that. Garbage points. Like he's getting rebounds and board.
Right. But I mean, offensive rebounds is huge.
I agree, but it's not the same as somebody like Trenton Watford that's creating.
No,
his
I agree.
Own
I don't
shots.
think. I think Trenton Watford is better than Darius Days. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're. I think the combination that they have right now is surprising me. I still thought they needed a big, and I was actually talking to Brandon Stewart the other day, our other Brandon, about this. I've been screaming that I felt like we needed a rim protector, things like that. I think the way Josh LeBlanc played the other night, I think he fills that role pretty well. But we got some dude. Every time I look at the chat, I start laughing.
I mean, Blake is just blowing it up.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right, so
he's asking us about the Quidditch team.
Jude Sansing, Parker Edwards is the guy.
I saw someone, I think it was Sam Bacon, was saying that was saying something about can't wait to put the One Team One podcast sponsorship.
So, yeah, I need to call Sam. He called me. I've called him back. I need to get in touch. We need to connect.
What is this about?
I don't know yet, so we'll figure it out. Okay. If I need to put a sign up, I can put a sign up. That's fine. I would also like to be the play-by-play funny guy.
Okay.
Walking around. This is in March, so we have to figure out our schedules on that. But anyway, let's get back to it. What was I saying about? I love the combination. I was talking to Brandon Stewart about rim protector, all that kind of stuff, and the thing that he was saying was the way that we're playing, a guy like a Bigby Williams or something like that.
Yeah.
Way may have to adjust his playing style to fit a guy like that in. Whereas the lineup that we have right now in the rotation we have right now probably fits exactly what he's trying to do as far as defensively with that press.
Okay.
And I don't, I never played basketball like, organized basketball like that to know the X's and the O's, but I'll trust a guy like, Brandon Stewart, Brandon Legion, and even I see Hal Jubin in the chat as well. Those guys know basketball a lot more than I do as far as the X's and O's. But so I see a I see a comment about Josh Gray in the chat. So I've been a big Josh Gray.
Yeah.
I'll look. Here's what I want. I was standing next to Brandon the other night when this happened. When it was the end of the first half, we take out Watford and we take out Thomas, so don't get their fouls.
Sure.
and it was like, I mean, talking about 10 seconds left on the clock, just one more defensive possession.
Yeah.
And they bring in Josh LeBlanc for Watford.
Right.
Like, just bring in Josh Gray. It's one possession, right?
I think and Brandon Lejean made a good point about this the other day.
Just call him Brandon. The
Yeah,
Lejean is just killing me, bro.
Well, but we also have Brandon Stewart, so it makes it
Yeah, that's
confusing.
true. Brandon J.
So Brandon was saying the other day that the big problem with putting in Josh Gray is that, we play this matchup zone defense, and you don't want to accidentally, because you're switching almost everything. You don't want to get him accidentally matched up on some point guard, and he's already he is a good athlete, but some of these, especially for Arkansas, they got some serious athletes on the outside.
Yeah, they did.
He can get easily beat to the rim by any of them.
I agree, but what's one possession? Let's just get him in there. All I want is a big guy in there to grab a foul. Take up the foul that was going to go to a LeBlanc or going to go to a Days or going to go to a Watford. Get a guy that can just take up a foul. That's all I want. I don't understand what the problem is. Josh Gray equals Tuba. I mean, come on. This guy, he knows.
Relax.
He's needling me.
Relax.
Needle. Relax.
Big boy.
Relax, big boy.
Wesley says Cam Thomas is the most versatile player. Watford is the brains of the operation, and Smart is the grinder. Just seeing the way that Watford turns the ball over, I would not say he's the brains of the operation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'd say he's. It feels like to me everything he does is just based on raw talent.
I feel like he's the most skilled. Well, Cam Thomas is very skilled, obviously. Offensively,
I'd say Cam Thomas is more skilled. I'd say Cam Thomas is definitely more skilled. But
offensively, technique-wise, to me, Trenton Watford is probably one of the best forwards in the country.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got great moves down the paint. I know he got called for a walk one time, and I was like, dude, that guy didn't walk. He just did a move that you're not used to, ref. Like he had a great drop step that people don't see in college, and you just automatically called it for a walk. It was bull. So I don't know. I think that we're in great shape. 9-2 with I feel like the press is rounding into shape. Wade said the same thing. It's so funny that we had posted the interview from 5 months ago. I had to pull that up. It was 5 months ago, and we were talking about the press, and we ended up talking exactly the way we're talking about it now. The only difference was we were talking about Charles Manning Jr. being at the top of the press,
right,
being a long guy. Well, now you got like Trenton Watford at the top, or you got like a Josh LeBlanc at the top, and you got Darius Days in the back. And I just think it works out perfect for these guys right now.
Charles Manning left, and
he's at South Alabama now.
Was that like a locker room issue?
I have no idea.
That's what it sounded like.
Or a playing time issue, maybe.
I saw someone on Tiger Dropping said something addition by subtraction thing. I didn't hear him say that, but that's what I saw on Tiger Dropping. Me and Brandon have been talking a lot about how many guys he likes to play with. Wade, I would love to see a 10-man rotation, but I don't think Wade's ever going to do it. I think he's going to do 9 at
8
most.
and a 9.
Yeah.
I think when Sharif O'Neal comes back, we'll see it at full capacity.
Yeah.
Which
I like I like what I see from Andre Hyatt. I mean, he's definitely one of our better defenders.
Absolutely. I think he played fantastic the other night.
He's had a couple good games now. He came in and played really well against Georgia too.
Yeah.
He needs to stop shooting threes. Man, he's airballed several threes this year.
Brandon says, relax on the turnovers. He's got the ball more than anybody else as far as Watford. Are you talking about Cam Thomas?
No, he's talking about Trenton.
Watford. Right.
Brandon, the only thing I would say to that is that he had 9 turnovers against Georgia. I don't care how often he has the ball. That's unacceptable. That's crazy. That's an absurd amount of numbers.
But he cut that down. I think if we can get,
I mean, he had 5 against Arkansas.
Here's what I have to say about Ole Miss and Arkansas. Those 2 games to me are outliers compared to everything else because we were playing this press. It seems to me, just as a amateur eyeballs looking at them, that they have more energy playing that press. And it's almost like they want to play the press, and they've been wanting to play the press, and all of a sudden they're like finally getting to play the style of play that they want to play, the players.
Yeah.
It reminds me, and this is I'm a football guy, down in my heart. It reminds me of LSU wide receivers in 2018 finally getting a quarterback that can throw them the ball, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my god, we got a quarterback, we can make plays. It feels like that kind of energy all of a sudden is just around this team. We got a message from Jude. Are we worried about Mac McClung and Texas Tech? Did you see that kid?
Dude, that was awesome. He's so sick, bro. He's awesome. That dude's
all right.
sick.
I almost retweeted that the other day, and I was like, this is the epitome of a dagger.
Yeah.
The way he hit that,
man,
with so much confidence, and he was like, everybody clear out. I'm about to drill it.
He's easily one of the best players in college basketball. I can't wait for that game.
I have a concern about that game. If COVID continues, which it will, I have a feeling that they are going to call off that game and just keep it with conferences.
I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they do that. Just because they went ahead and played all those preseason tournaments and stuff. And if they weren't going to cancel those, then they're not going to cancel, individual games like that.
Right.
That's that's my opinion.
Hal and Brandon going back at each other. I feel sorry for them, and I agree. Let's see. We have some other comments in the chat.
Feel sorry for who? For us?
Probably.
What do we do?
I don't know. Everybody feels sorry for me sometimes. He's 6'9". Wade trusts him with the ball in his hands. High risk, high rewards. I agree with that. Trent Watford is like, he's a pro. This is his last year. Yeah. He needed this year to kind of get himself ready. Defensively, is he better this year than he was last year? He couldn't get any worse.
A little. He's still not good, but
he couldn't get any worse.
Yeah, no, he's improved though. He's definitely improved.
Texas Tech coming to the PMAC 2. I agree. That'll be. How awesome! I was telling Brandon this the other night that after the game, walking out, I was surprised of how much juice and energy there were in the arena. I didn't think it was going to be as much as it was. So I was surprised by that a little bit. I thought that with that less of a crowd, it was going to be way more manufactured energy, and it wasn't. Which was a good thing. I was pinning a lot of stuff this year on, home court's not going to matter this year at all. Whereas now, looking back at it, home court does matter.
It does.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I figured it would. It did in football, just because it's more closed,
right,
and all that, and you can the fans are more on top of you in basketball than they are in football. So that definitely plays a part.
All right, so we got South Carolina coming up.
Yeah.
Frank Martin team, but Frank Martin probably won't be there.
Frank Martin will not be there, and two assistants too.
I know that's a hard-nosed team.
I don't know if they're missing any players.
I don't know either.
I'm sure they are.
They're always going to play.
This is their 6th game of the year.
Yeah, they're always going to play really tough on defense, but they're not going to have the offense to keep up with a team like us.
No, they average, I think, like 70 points a game.
I'm just hoping that we don't let up knowing that. I want to see the same style. Get it ready for your Alabama game, because that Alabama game is going to be the big game.
Be fun.
That's Tuesday night, correct?
Yeah.
That's here?
8 o'clock.
It's a big one. So I think that's the one we got to gear up for. And this is like a practice test for that Alabama game.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, but I'm hoping they don't say it that way. I would like to see Cam Thomas fully healthy. So
yeah, I would too.
Do you need to sit him at all?
I think we're gonna blow out South Carolina. I really do. I think we're gonna get up early like we did against Arkansas. Maybe not, 44-13, but
if you do,
I think we're gonna blow them out. I think we're gonna be beating them pretty good early.
If you do, I would like you to sit Cam Thomas in the second half. I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Although he didn't seem like he was banged up at all against.
Will Wade was talking about him after the game. Basically, like, this kid's a warrior. Like, he was hurt
really?
and he was still practicing the next day, and he was still like going after it. And yeah, he wasn't 100%.
Oh wow, he didn't seem like he was hurt at all.
Right, and like that was another thing. Like he was able to still do the things he was able to do.
Damn, that's sick.
Hal says, don't hold me to it, but I think there were a couple of players that would not be playing, and yes, Martin and 2 assistants. So it could have a short team for South Carolina, which I would say the press is even more valuable, right?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Like, if they're short a couple of guys, South Carolina,
wear them out.
the fucking hell out of this team.
Yeah.
This is exactly when you should be doing
Well,
it,
they're
right?
so bad on offense that, I mean, like, you almost don't even have to throw them off their rhythm. They just don't have much.
Right.
So yeah, no, I just really don't think they have a chance, especially without several coaches.
Right.
And they're already not that good, in my opinion.
Brandon says Cam's healthy. If we continue to see LeBlanc improve and the 2 freshman guards, we're going to be extremely dangerous. I agree with that completely. LeBlanc, I agree with Brandon there. LeBlanc is like one of the missing links of this team. Having that guy that's going to be dirty down low defensively. I saw one play where he basically palmed the ball out of a guy's hands, and I'm like, holy shit. Where did that come from?
I don't remember that.
Oh, I'll have to grab it on like YouTube and like clip it. That was such a great play. I remember like just going, whoa.
I mean, he's easily our best post defender.
Oh, absolutely.
He's not our tallest guy by any means, but
well, he's actually 6'7", so he's probably one of them.
Right. I mean,
Trenton Watford is 6'9", but
right, Trenton Watford, and then Sharif is also 6'9".
Yeah.
So he's our third, or I mean, I guess if you want to count Josh Gray, but I don't even count him because he's not.
I swear to God, you guys are trying to piss me off. Josh Gray is going to get meaningful minutes time this year.
But well, because I think Sharif's going to come back and he's going to be like our post guy. Even though he's not a post guy, but he's going to be our post guy. I don't know, how much do you think Sharif plays when he comes back? I'm thinking like 10 to 15 minutes a game.
Sharif, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, something like that.
I think
like kind of like Darius Day his freshman year. You remember?
It seemed like when he was healthy, he was one of our main contributors. Brandon Stewart in the chat, LSU 8.5 for South Carolina. I think I'm gonna take that
8.5.
Yeah, Brandon, don't tell Summer. I am going to take the 8.5.
No, we're going to win by 10 or more,
and I'm going to run.
It's going to make sure we win by 10 or more.
Now, Brandon Stewart is now getting on the Josh Gray train.
Get off the train, guys. Get on the train next year, maybe.
No, they're on the other train. Gray ain't playing unless there's injuries, multiple injuries.
Yeah, no,
multiple injuries.
I mean, whether or not I agree with it almost doesn't matter.
All right, I agree. I agree with y'all. I'm gonna get off the Josh Gray train.
Yeah, let's just stop hammering this. Damn.
Let's.
What are we, 9-2?
I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna stick with what we
I'll
got.
do a breaking news. Josh Gray, is starting against South Carolina, something like that. Guys, we are going to post some breaking news in the next couple of days.
Yep.
I don't think none of it's going to be confirmed.
Right.
Just saying. If you guys want to check it out on Twitter and repost it, we would love that.
Yeah.
Look, somebody said something to us about
see what we've been working with.
Yeah. Somebody said something about making fun of us because we're just having fun. And I started the
what a ridiculous thing to make fun of someone for.
I know. I didn't understand it either. But we are just having fun. And yeah, who are your sauces? Brandon Stewart says. Tiger droppings. That's
Usually.
what I always say.
No,
if somebody
most of the
asks
time.
me who are my sauces, I'm going to tell you tiger droppings every time. Even if it's not true.
It's usually not, but
usually not true. But I will say
actually, it's always not. It's always not true.
I will say this: it's chess, not checkers, guys. All I'm trying to do with this is laugh. So, and people are making me laugh lately. All right. So, what are we expecting out of LSU football the next, I guess, week? Let's say that.
What are we expecting out of LSU football?
Yeah. Anything like
Nothing.
DC?
No,
I
because
don't think so either.
I don't. I
Hey,
think
you think the Saints are going to win?
I think Saints are going to win. Yeah, we can talk about that in a second if you want.
Sure.
I think Saints are going to win. I think Rams are going to lose.
Mhm.
So, although I mean, who knows? I don't know. That defense is crazy. And I mean, if we're assuming chalk holds, then Joe Barry becomes available, and I guess we'll see what goes from.
I didn't quite understand the Joe Barry how that fits with LSU
I just
and where
think
the timeline
linebackers-
was.
Just think linebackers is what people are thinking. But yeah, I think Ryan Nielsen definitely makes more sense.
I think that's the guy. I think it's
Mhm.
Ryan Nielsen. My question is, what if we go to the Super Bowl? You know,
Right.
we're waiting around for this guy. It better
Yeah, that's
be.
Super Bowl's a month away.
Yeah, we're a
I don't know.
basketball school now, Craig Dugas. Yeah, that's right.
I'm with that.
Is Craig on the? Is he on the podcast? Tell him I'm drinking some Sugarfield spirits. Brandon Stewart, you may like that one as well. It's the SR1 Sugarfield. Those are our guys over there in Gonzales. Yeah, Craig Dugas, he's a big bourbon guy. So,
Oh yeah,
oh man, big time
nice.
bourbon guy. He's
Good to
got.
see.
I'm actually envious of his collection. So,
Oh yeah.
I am going to be redecorating this office in a few days, and we're setting up a little bar and everything like that in here too. So I can't wait for that to happen. We need to have Craig come by. Brandon Lejean, we need to have you come on the show, and we'll talk some basketball soon as well.
Yeah.
Craig was here earlier, he says. So, and then Brandon Stewart is a big basketball fan too, so we need to have him on as well. So yeah, I think the Saints are going to beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I
they're hot, but
keep hearing
our
stupid.
defense is too good.
Keep hearing stupid booger talking about how like the Bucks are a much improved team. You remember even when we beat them 38-3, he was saying he was saying like, oh well, Bucks are going to be a better team by the time the playoffs come around. Bucks are the better team right now, even though we beat them by 35 points.
Right.
You see all the stuff about how it's hard to beat a team 3 times and stuff, but that when teams play a third time, the team that won the first 2 games wins 65% of the time.
Okay.
So, it's I guess it's not that hard. Granted, Bucks are definitely at their peak right now.
Right.
But who have they beaten in this little stretch that they're on? Fucking nobody.
No.
Like, I'm not impressed that you barely squeaked a win out and made Taylor Heineke look like a MVP.
Right.
I'd never heard of that guy, and now he's like one of my favorite players because of y'all.
Yeah, I think it's our defense affecting Tom Brady is the name of the game on that one. And
is Hendrickson back? I actually don't know.
I think he's limited.
Okay. If he plays,
Brandon
then, like,
Stewart
it's
may know
over.
that for sure. He's a big Saints guy. I think he's limited in practice, so I'm not quite sure if he's going to be. Oh, did I just crash? No. All right. So I don't know if he is like 100% going to play or not.
Okay.
But I still think our defensive line is good enough to affect Tom Brady, and force him into some errors. I love Marshawn Lattimore playing against Mike Evans every time. I'll take it 10 days out of the week.
Yeah.
So like I love the matchup with the Bucks.
Right.
I
I don't know what we're gonna do with Antonio Brown.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That'll be tough.
Yeah.
But and I also just think about like it's Brady in the playoffs, and it just it feels like it would be tough.
Yeah.
But when I look at the matchup, it's just like we're just a better team.
Right.
All around.
So, say we win that, and then we have the Packers. I would say the next week in
Green Bay,
cold Green Bay. Win or lose that game. If say you lose that game, I would hope that the Ryan Nielsen hire would be shortly after that.
Yeah.
Like immediately. Like you lose on Sunday, it's Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I would expect.
And hopefully it's not. I hope we don't see Ryan Nielsen is coming in for an interview, because like that would just tell me that like, all right.
You know,
so
some of the controversy
just
that
don't
was
know yet.
happening over the Jordy Culotta stuff was about him and Matt Moscona both talking about how, and I completely could see this, is that Ed Ogeron hired Bo Pelini without an interview.
Yeah.
Just hired him sight on scene, hired him.
Yeah.
What a disaster that was. I've also heard a few things, and I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this. Zach Arnett from Mississippi State came in, and there's been some conflicting reports about that interview. We
Mhm.
didn't offer him a job, is supposedly what happened.
Yeah.
But I've heard, and Brandon Lejean will know what I'm talking about, is that the interview was just kind of like dysfunctional on our end, and we weren't prepared for the interview, and it was kind of unprofessional, and
Yikes.
it wasn't what he was expecting.
Okay.
I've also heard that he came in with his Mississippi State gear on, which I when I heard that, I was like, I don't know about that.
That's weird.
I don't know about that one.
Jesus Christ, I hope he didn't do
But
that.
I have heard that a couple of times that we aren't. I don't know. I've also heard,
Maybe Coach O just like wasn't interested in him.
I've also heard this. I'll say it. Zach von Rosenberg told me this, that Coach O may have a bad reputation with different coaches in the industry, and that some guys are kind of feeling things out. And he wasn't surprised. Zach wasn't surprised when Marcus Freeman turned the job down because of his reputation amongst coaches, that a guy like Marcus Freeman would rather go to Brian Kelly than Coach O and coach under him. That says a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like Brian Kelly, that asshole.
Yeah. Fuck that.
You want to go work for that guy rather than Coach O? That's a problem.
Right.
I don't know how much that played into that, but just a few things that we hear that I like to pass along. We're not breaking any big news here or anything like that, but I think there's still some sweeping up that Coach O has to do from, I guess, what happened, the shit show that happened in 2020. There's still some cleaning up to do from all that mess.
Right. And then what happened to all the? So it sounded like we wanted to make a diverse hire here. And
and I'd heard that from that was
all of our
that was a Scott Woodward deal, that he wanted a minority hire.
Mhm.
And I think that had to do with the defense, with Pelini and Bush having some problems with some players on the team, and that probably stemmed from the Black Lives Matter protests, and it just kind of culminated the entire year, and there was a miscommunication, and Woodward came in and said, cut the shit, I think we need a minority hire. So obviously Freeman was their choice on that, and then after Freeman, Derek Mason's already got a job. Who else is there really that's going to be qualified enough other than maybe like a Charlie Strong?
Sure. Who's apparently going to be the Jags linebackers coach now. Correct.
Yeah, he's going to be an NFL linebacker coach.
And then what's the deal with like Chris Richard? Is he just off the table?
I don't know. I've also heard stuff about Chris Richard not actually wanting to coach in college. So I've heard that name for the last couple of years. So I don't know why it's not on the table, but he's also interviewed for some NFL DC positions.
I saw that. I think a Raiders was one that he interviewed for.
Look, I really wanted a guy that I hate to be the guy that says I don't care what color you are or anything like that, but I want a guy that can relate to the players.
Yeah.
I want a guy who commands respect from the players. And I also want a guy that has an aggressive scheme. I feel like I thought Bo Pelini before the season was going to be able to do that, but what I was missing on was that he could not relate to these players at all.
Well, what you were missing on is that he just didn't really care that much about the job.
And he didn't spend enough time.
Right. And I think that's why he couldn't relate with the players, because they were like, you don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah, and like having a guy like Marcus Freeman come in is a young guy. He's hungry. He wants to be a head coach.
Yeah.
There's something to play for him. He's going to spend the time that he needs to spend on that team.
Right. And it wasn't even, I don't think, I mean, Marcus Freeman should have been the guy we were looking at regardless of skin color.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the number one qualified.
He was the most qualified guy for the job.
Correct.
But I do understand the whole.
It fit the box perfectly.
Wanting to make sure that players weren't
wanting to make sure that 2020 never happens again.
Exactly.
Is basically what they're trying to do.
Right.
It's not as important on the offensive side.
There was definitely a big problem with want to.
Yeah, but on the offensive side, you could see where obviously 2019 showed you that didn't need to happen. On the offensive side, you could have a young, aggressive head coach, passing game coordinator, kind of change the entire landscape of college football.
Yeah.
And on the defensive side, that something about Dave Aranda and that quiet confidence that he had, and it was almost like an NFL level where you're a professional here and he's going to talk to you like you're a professional. That transition from guy to a rah-rah Bo Pelini, I think was like just dynamite.
Right. But I think a big problem with I don't know how much I buy into that as much as I just buy into I feel like if Bo Pelini cared, then that rah-rah mentality would have worked. Because you see all those players before that loved him. Granted, they switched from Muschamp to Pelini, which is not even a transition at all.
Sure,
it's almost the same dude. If that, I think it would have been fine.
Yeah, I
think players would have responded to it if he would have cared.
The other issue that I have with that is that there was an obvious problem between Bo Pelini, Bill Bush, and Corey Raymond, and never more evident than when Derek Stingley Jr. goes directly to Coach Orgeron and asks to be put on Devontae Smith.
I mentioned that on the Dashboards show this past week.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going above everybody to go talk to Orgeron, above Pelini, everybody, and I mean, can you see him going to Raymond and Raymond putting his hands up and saying, "Go fucking talk to Coach O." Right. At this point, what do you want me to do?
Right.
Because I'm being stoned. I just feel like that's part of it. Now, if you get a guy like Ryan Nielsen, and I talked to somebody about this today on Twitter, that he's a D-line coach and he's never, developed a college scheme. He's never called plays.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you see Corey Raymond stepping in a little bit more on the passing game side and the secondary side and kind of stepping up with that?
Speaking of Corey Raymond, why is he only the cornerbacks coach? Why do we have to have a safeties coach?
Yeah.
Coach O said that the other day that we're gonna make sure we hire a safeties coach too. Why? Why is that necessary?
Well, if you have this guy who's going to come in as a D-line coach, you have Coach Orgeron, first of all, also, you don't need a D-line coach.
Sure.
You need a linebackers coach.
Yeah. Sure.
You have a Corey Raymond. Would you rather have another defensive coach, or would you have? I mean, so basically, you have say you have Callaway coming in as a tight ends coach or something like that. You're going to have 6 coaches on offensive side, and you're going to have 4 coaches on the defensive side.
Yeah.
So you're going to need that extra coach.
Yeah, I guess. I don't. Damn, that's a good point. I don't know. I don't feel.
Say that again.
No, you're right. No,
say that again.
But what does a safeties coach like? I just feel like Corey Raymond could easily do.
I agree. I think it's more of
he did do all of it, and he did a really good job at it.
I think it's more of having another defensive, and you could do a outside linebackers coach and inside linebackers coach. I don't care what you do.
Right.
I think you need another. You can have a defensive end coach, a defensive tackle coach. I don't really care.
Sure.
Linebacker coach. I know that they're not going to do this, but I would love to get Tosh Lapoy from the Falcons now. I'm sure he already is canned.
Right.
And have him come here. He was at Alabama before.
Right.
I mean, stud recruiter.
Yeah, that would be a great hire. I agree.
I don't think he's even on
I thought
the
he was
radar.
at Alabama for some reason.
No,
Okay.
he was a DC at Alabama when he
Right.
left.
Yeah.
There's also a kind of shady recruiter for Alabama.
Love to see it.
I would too.
It'd fit right in.
I'd love it. I want it. I need it. All right, guys. We'll wrap it up here. Again, big shout out to Brandon Lejean, courtesy Buick GMC, courtesy Automotive Group in Lafayette, 4750 Johnson Street in Lafayette. Go see him. I'm going to post his information on the Facebook page. Like him on Facebook. He'll post used car deals too. So whenever he posts something on Facebook, you need to act quickly because it will be gone fast as well. So big shout out to him. Big supporter of the podcast. Been there since the beginning. We appreciate it. Also, Bear Process Safety. The Big Orange Bear is doing work in Baton Rouge. Bear Process Safety, hit them up for any process safety needs. Let's see, they're right there. Check them out. If you guys are in the plant arena, talk to your safety managers, see if they know about Bear Process Safety, get them involved with Bear Process Safety. There you go, Big Orange Bear. Doing work in Baton Rouge. Also, Ether Insurance, they just opened, guys. They just had their grand opening. I actually just started their commercials on Fox and NBC here in Baton Rouge as well. They do quotes for, business, home, life, auto. They can take care of any kind of insurance needs you have. Also, big shout out to La Terrain Watches. I got another watch coming in the mail, actually. And Sugar Fields Spirits. All right, so in Gonzales, they have their distillery and they have a bar, but with COVID and phase 2 we're in right now, they're not currently open in their bar area. Okay. But they do sell their bottles in different grocery stores and liquor stores currently. What they're trying to do now is get into different restaurants. So if you guys go to a restaurant, go to the bar, talk to a manager, say, hey, look, I'd love for you guys to get Sugarfield Spirits in their bourbon. That's really good. If you guys can do that, that would be awesome for those guys. They're a young upstart distillery in Gonzales. I would love to see them blow up. They have really good products. So reach out to those guys as well. You can get their information on their website as well, and I'll post that kind of stuff too. So anyway, we've been really appreciate everybody following us tonight. Appreciate everybody reaching out to us on Twitter about when our next podcast was going to be. I really appreciate that. I wasn't expecting that. But anyway, this has been One Team, One Podcast.
Logging out.
We showed you what the GOAT was last year when we beat y'all 50-7.
Let's go! One team!
Relax, you big boy.
Team One Podcast? One Team One Podcast? Yeah, they did a good job. Really good. Yeah. Why is he so fat?
Team One Podcast.
One team!